Hey, Decathlon gamer. Welcome back to City Skylines 2. This is episode number 12. Last time we did a huge double project, adding neighborhoods throughout the city and putting an airport in and getting that up and running. But what it's left us with is some really high demand in a few areas, something that needs to be met. We have 11 map tiles at the moment. Let's go ahead and use some of those so that we can build a bit more into the city. So the first area that I definitely want to be picking up is going to be the additional remainder of the highway here. Filling that pocket in so that we can get a neighborhood into this area, this side of the freeway. I don't want to get into that next area just yet. I think actually I'm more inclined to do more on the opposite side, but let's start with just those three and then we'll go from there. So freeway expansion project first. Now we already have a 4-lane there and we have a 4-lane there. We just need to make it 4-lane throughout now. So we'll go ahead and go into highway, add upgrade. That'll help with the merge situation from back here. Now, are we able to do it there? If we go, oh, even to the left, we're not able to get it overlapping. Oh, we are. We just have to really kind of drag it to the left if we want to keep it 3 lanes. You know what? I'm okay with it merging down to 2 because then the new lane comes in and resets to 3 just after that. That forces you to get out of the merge lane. Okay, well, one of the other things is the freeway along here. This is the major outlet. I want it to be 3 lanes throughout, so we're gonna extend that. That's a rather cheap upgrade to make anyway. All right, and on to fulfilling some expansion needs, something we have not done for an episode plus. We had finished a big project right at the end of that last one, so there was expansion previous, and I do have other pockets. We do have this pocket still to fill in. We still have the other side of the freeway, but as you can see, most of that is plagued by the fact that we have the situation here, and now we have dirty water. Water coming in there is contaminated, so having some issues in that particular neighborhood. So here's what I've got road network wise so far. We took our main highway from here and ran it all the way down to the airport. So we are connecting to the airport after all, besides just the highway. I suppose it does help to have more than one entrance, but we also took this side road and brought it in and connected it off the main road a second time because it really only had a single connection way back here. That's dipping underneath the key road and bridge over to the other area. Then we filled in another neighborhood, so we've got a kind of a key road that wraps around the neighborhood itself, and then we have a few internal roads that all connect in different ways, different connection points, so you're not overloading your traffic, with kind of the biggest one being just solo and coming together from 2 sides. So I think that's a good clean way to not have your traffic get overloaded. It's not too many people coming together at one point. It really helps spread things around. The one kind of spot that I'm now worried about getting overloaded a little bit is the intersection here, and maybe these 2 intersections behind. I think it's going to be easy enough to throw these 2 onto roundabouts, like medium-sized roundabouts. Yeah, we're losing one house. couple houses there. But I think we need to get this one on a roundabout. It's cost of 2 commercial properties. That's just fine. Just fine. Okay, now we can zone. So a lot of light residential will still be kind of the go-to method here. Like this whole back area, we want to be light residential. You can see there's a number of smaller sections here, so this is going to be a little bit more low-income kind of housing. Regular suburbs, not rich tycoon kind. Alright, we're going to throw in some mixed housing through this area. And then we're going to go for some standard... Do I want high density? No. Let's go for some low density through here. We'll see how quickly that makes a dent. I mean, we somehow still had a population that's been growing through all this. And also, just in the time that it put me to put all that infrastructure in, we've seen a rapid, steady rise in our funds, pushing towards 2 million now. New signature building, the Polaris Suites. Residents will enjoy the atmosphere of this smooth, luxurious building. +4 well-being in the area, so we might want that. A nice little visual next to the freeway. That's gonna look pretty cool when you're going past the freeway there. Also notice we have one other signature building that's open right now, and that is the Dairy House. We're gonna go ahead and put this in our climate change industrial area. Any bonuses for that one? No, but what we or expansions, nothing for expansions, but what it provides is a +2 industrial efficiency, +2% citywide, and +2% export profits. Okay, and this area keeps having issues with water. In fact, the whole freaking lower half region is having some issues with water. We have enough water availability, and we have enough sewage treatment, but one line connecting the whole side apparently is just not holding enough. So we need to have more than one route across here, I guess, more than one bridge that connects up north and south, which really means, yeah, bringing this road in, connecting it over here, so we have kind of 2 routes. That added a second layer, a second connection. Did that resolve it? Not really. Now, is this because we have I bet you it is. I had a water treatment facility, or a groundwater. This has got to be coming from that. Where is it hiding? There it is. I'm guessing this groundwater pumping station. So 2 groundwater pumping stations, but I'm guessing both of them and their locations are creating the issue that we have. There's a really nice groundwater area over there, and there is one here, so this seems like a good place to I can get it in cleanly without destroying too many houses like that. There you go. And I think we're going to have to do away with the 2 that are tied into the industrial areas. There's too much pollution in the region, in the area, and it's getting into the groundwater. So let's go ahead and actually, you know what, let's move, relocate. Okay, there's another groundwater area here, and we have not done anything on the main road here. Can we get in there without?
And the economy is booming. More after this.
There we go. Okay, and then there was one more over here. It's hard to say which one. Okay, that says pollution is 0%. I just see where it said that, so I'm guessing that the one we just moved and 0% pollution. Okay, there might be some in the system left over, but it's clearing up. Yeah, there you go. There's the last of it. Gone. Okay. Okay. Now, water availability is way more than what our consumption is. So is our sewage treatment. If we can get an outside connection, we can start using the water trade to export this extra water, and maybe sewage treatment would balance. We could import and handle, and I don't know how that part would function. But this outside connection is awfully close. How many tiles is it? We can get there in 4 tiles. Or we could just do all 8 tiles and fully own that section of freeway. Fully upgrade that section of freeway. And then set up that export. Might as well. That does lock us in until our next upgrade on what it is we're going to do. But this allows us to make that connection and get this freeway thing happening. We could probably get a rail connection out that way as well now. Okay, we have an outside connection for water. Traffic clearly isn't that bad right now. The traffic flow, you know, that's manageable, but in time... Oh, no, no, no. Undo. Okay, highway expanded all the way through. We have that outside connection. Is it already starting to earn us some money? Water trade. Exporting 63 million gallons. We'll see what the income of that looks like, but the current trend is definitely up in the money. There's 2 million, just like that. Let's check in on... Traffic is starting to pick up near the airport. It looks like a portion of this area is definitely picking up traffic through here to come around because of the one-way traffic. For now, it's fine. One thing I've not been adding at all into this area, which it's mostly just simple low residential suburbs. You don't need parking for that, right? Roadside and your own driveway is pretty sufficient. We do have some more medium density stuff here, so I might want to throw in a parking structure in here somewhere. Now, one thing to keep in mind is I'm going to throw in an intersection here at some point so that we can gain access to what's left of this area and this area down here to make use and throw in a little more low residential. But checking back in on transportation, it's been a little bit of time now, not long, but a little bit longer to start getting the traffic to pick up, and the air traffic is picking up. It's up to 453 a month. Cargo wise though, nothing happening yet. Nothing is happening yet on there. So I'm assuming if I run a cargo train line, we're gonna have like a separate rail yard, or we're gonna have to make some sort of double train tracks. Do we have double? I'm assuming we have double train tracks over here. Yes, we do have double train tracks on this side. What I don't yet know is quite how I want to make this thing work. A little bottleneck at the train station, it looks like. Guessing this train can't get in until... Okay, it did pull away the other way. Once this one pulls in, they can start moving. Now, was this a cargo train situation where we were kind of getting hung up? It was and is. So, train traffic's not moving perfectly. Wonder if I could use the rail yard as a pass-through. Like, make a connection over to here. And then make a connection here. Will they pass through the rail yard to bypass traffic? Well, the good news is I've been able to get that circular track that I was worried about before, connecting the cargo train terminal in a rounded sort of way. Let's hope that the crossover intersections here don't lead to too many problems, but I would think next cargo train terminal that we... Cargo terminal train... words that we get coming in would hopefully opt for this path and then head straight in. In fact, we already have the cargo train that's in the terminal now. I wonder if doubling up the tracks in there would help as well. Let's see. 2A upgrade. I don't think the rounded one, I don't think it needs to be doubled up, but that could and should do a bit to help with that traffic bottleneck. Yeah, there you go. It is taking that rounded. So we've resolved one minor issue when it came to our train traffic, but now the big issue is how do I link up the airport and this exit. I mean, the simple thing is linking up the exit, right? I mean, we could do that pretty easily, just straight on, right on through. Might as well, right? Let's take care of that. And so we've established an outside connection. We have that now, but I don't think that means it's suddenly going to get used. I do think we are still going to run into the problem of making an internal connection with our rail line, so on and so forth. I don't think it's going to make us let us make a line without being connected to the rail yard somehow. So we could either build a separate rail yard and make it completely unique to the area, or we're going to have to take it up and over. You know, we have this whole outside the freeway connection all the way through. We've already pushed a little too close to the rail line there. So I do think we would want to go around. No tiles available right now, but I think we could begin the process. So, for example, we would want to cut across through here. So we would want right about there. I'm going to leave the freeway as is for now. There could be a problem later on, but I think one of the easier solutions at that point would just be simply to have a Alright, we'll bring in a connection both to there and to here. So at this point, we've gone a long ways with this project. We've got the outside connection. We have the airport terminal connection. We've got it going both directions now. We've got our bridge over the freeway. And then we're running alongside this freeway. We're already underneath that bridge that I prepared to go over to the other side. And then I've turned the line to have it go through here. I don't have a through there route yet, though. So that's going to be the next kind of tricky thing to do. And I suppose I could at least run this portion of it. And that brings us now to this end. So we're to here. There's what we need to link up with, and we'll have to get that to go over the freeway somehow and have the ability to go both directions. And that will complete the line, and like our freeway system that goes essentially three ways, plus our little mild highway that runs through here that we converted, really. We took it away from being a highway for the most part. But anyway, that'll connect our rail line, that'll connect the rail yard, the passenger station, the cargo yard, all of that becomes connected. In the meantime, demand has gone up significantly. Once again, I doubt we have started to pick up anything in terms of air cargo. No, still no air cargo. That's not properly hooked up. So even though that we have a route there, it's not doing anything. But meanwhile, the air traffic is steadily increasing, approaching 1,000. When the time comes, the good news here is we only need a single tile to connect that up, and then we will need 1 and 2 tiles, and we might be able to get away with just the 2 tiles to bring this in and kind of tee it off and connect. We got to maybe put the highway over the top, build a bridge for the highway. Might be the way to go with that section. But 3 tiles is all we need, but we need our next milestone to get those map tiles, which means we've made some progress, yes, a lot of progress, but we've got some work to do yet to finish this one off. Demand is high for low res, as always. Let's go ahead and get that medium demand out of the way. A little mixed housing here. And we have a huge potential for a forestry region in there, or utilize it for other means. Now, one thing I have not kept up with recently is farmland. There's definite demand for it, lots of demand for it, and not much existing out there for us, so it leads to a lot of import. Meanwhile, 3.6 million, so cash is coming up. That's while only adding a couple thousand people into the city. Not a fan of having this intersection here as a long-term solution. I do think I want to get a roundabout in, and I'm not sure I can get a roundabout in there as is. I cannot. So what we're going to have to do is divert this road just a little bit. Let's pause and do that briefly after that truck gets off of there so he's not caught up in the mix. There we go, that should take care of that. Nice healthy roundabout, get people moving. It also gives me a decent amount of farmland here, since I was just talking about putting a farm in. Now there's the kind that need things and the kind that don't. The livestock farming does not require fertile land, so we're gonna stick it right out here. Could we, there we go, we could wrap around the telephone pole. Alright, well, I went ahead and shifted it over a little bit because apparently it can't pass under the power lines. Now, I know there's certain issues that come up that arise from that particular situation, but huge industrial addition for natural resources. I've added a massive farming area, just a little bit of rural residential in this. Let's hope that that water issue is taken care of. Does gravel? Two huge lumber yards that are out there, so, or logging industry, right? And then we have that little pocket of just some light residential, but lots of farms. Now, all of these farms, the, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 farms in this area are all livestock farms because the land is not good. However, the big pocket one that we have here, well, it extends a little bit onto this side, and so I went ahead and added in a small one just on the other side of the lines here. I think that was a convenient use of the area to get a grain farm in here. So it's not going to be a big one, it's a rather small one, but adding in that grain farm will certainly help us out, and in time I suspect we're going to make a lot of additional money. Meanwhile, 4 million. Now profit is not insanely high. It's not that, but the taxes are taxation, residential, definitely the big source of income with that one. And I have really not broken it down to who's paying what, right? The highly educated could definitely afford more and can be taxed higher. It's just they're going to have bigger demands, and if we lower the taxes on the uneducated a little bit, it's going to set us up in a good way. None of the services themselves are profitable. Roads are costing us, even electricity. With all the export and the fees that we collect, it still does not make up for the maintenance, the water and sewage. The healthcare is absurdly bad. Like, our fees is $15,000. Nobody's using it, and yet health rate is low. I don't understand why that's happening, why there's not more usage when there's availability and there's a need. There's a supply and demand issue here. It's there. I don't know why we're not getting it. Garbage management also expensive. The fees we're bringing in are just not covering it. But that's what taxes are meant to do, right? These are not necessarily supposed to be profitable areas, though. Police and administration, that's a bit high. Transportation, not bad. Fees are definitely helping offset that. It's the production, though, that I care about right now. This is going to take a little time before that new stuff really shows up. Lumber's already high on production. We already have a surplus, and these two giant areas are going to help with that even more. But the grain, massive deficit. So adding a little bit to help with that will help us on cost. But food is an issue. We do have oil. Even that is somehow a deficit. In terms of material goods, there are some things that our industries are providing and supporting with. Petrochemicals, we make a lot, and yet we still have a huge deficit. In convenience food, we make a lot, but we have a massive deficit. So there's a lot more that could be done in those areas. And for immaterial goods, this seems to be one of the areas where we're making a better profit. We have a healthy surplus when it comes to software production. Financial has a big need, and I did unlock something regarding financial and the bank. We'll see if that does anything to impact that particular sector. Meals are up. Lodging, there is some now, so there is some production regarding lodging. We have entertainment and in surplus. We have recreation and in surplus. So the immaterial goods, for the most part, are pretty good, other than media is definitely on a shortage. Financial sector, I mean, we're barely doing anything in the financial sector right now. I think a big part of that is we just have no office. But I've been waiting to use that half of the Sea Lion Island for these purposes, and have done so. With those farms, that should start providing a lot of additional income. We're up to 4.3 million and growing. And while spending almost nothing and seeing our finances improve to where I can do a big project now, meanwhile, demand didn't go crazy. I mean, low residential is always, like, we can never seem to take care of that. The moment it decreases, a minute later, it's right back through the roof. That's the one that we are constantly fighting to provide in a meaningful sort of way. But we are now 2/3 of the way through our current level, and we need those new tiles to get that rail line going and help with that. In the meantime, I've got a few sectors to kind of check in on, and we could maybe do a big project because we do have some funds. That is going to do it for this episode, though. We've really started to kind of fill out what is available to us. There's definitely still the highway sector here, but I don't really want to expand on that until I can kind of pick up those tiles. Like, we can really build into this area. We don't need that for us. That could be a lot of residential through there. We could build into here. I don't mind getting industrial to the south end there if the wind is blowing to the south, that is. And obviously we have this, and we just need to get that all connected up so we can make proper use of it. So there are more goals in sight, but for the land that we have right now, there really isn't much else that we can do in the short term with the land available. Hence the time for the big project seems near. I mean, there's little pockets, so we have none, and this is all supposed to be forestry at some point. The other big forestry area, definitely not this pocket. We'll take those trees away. It's not that dense through there. Another huge forestry section available here. We're not going to be using all of it, but it clearly is a good way to make some money. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.